Hey guys, Dr. Ryan Davis with Thrive Chiropractic in Montgomery, Alabama. Today I'm talking about low back stiffness, particularly for CrossFit athletes, for runners that have a complaint of feeling stiff in the low back. It's a really common complaint, but it turns out most of the time it's not truly a low back stiffness that's to blame. And I want to talk about a few of the reasons you may feel stiff in your low back if you're an athlete of some sort. So one is just overusing your back in a movement or a pattern that you shouldn't be using a lot of movement out of your back. So a good example is one would be for runners. Sometimes we're overly tight in our hip flexors and our quadriceps, which pulls us into a anteriorly tilted pelvis position that makes us overly use our back to stay upright. And then through the running process, our back begins to feel stiff or tighten up as we run. So the answer for that has nothing to do with stretching our back, but instead improving that hip position and creating a more neutral spine that then unloads the back as we run. So stretching the back in that scenario wouldn't help. Another one would be for a CrossFit athlete, maybe deadlifting. You hear that a lot where my back tightens up or feels tight when I deadlift. Most of the time what's going on is we have a less than optimal hip hinge pattern. And what we end up doing, the deadlift should essentially be a plank for the back where the back stays rigid as we go through the movement. So the back should never bend and flex and extend as we go through the deadlift. If it does, it should be a very little amount. But a lot of times when the hinge pattern is not optimal and we don't get enough movement out of our hip, we end up flexing and extending our back a lot. And then with a high rep deadlift workout, the back begins to stiffen up or lock up or feel tight. Again, the fix for that has nothing to do with the back. Stretching the back won't help that. What we need to do in that case is improve the hinge pattern so that the back doesn't have to flex and extend under load, which leads to that feeling of stiffness. Another scenario, the last scenario I want to talk about, is the idea that the back feels stiff, but what's really happening is we're locked in that forward tilted pelvis position due to some sort of maybe deconditioning where we're either weak in our glutes and our core, and that allows our pelvis to kind of roll forward and kind of almost get stuck there, where the fix for that in reality is strength training or strengthening the glutes and the core to be able to tilt that pelvis back and unload the back through that mechanism. So that's another scenario. And another cause of being stuck in that anteriorly tilted pelvis is what we call the overextended athlete or the sympathetically dominated athlete. This is the person that comes in and they're locked like this. So they're what we call peacocking, right? And what's going on there is there's too much tone in those low back erector muscles, we call them. And the fix for that, again, nothing to do with stretching. We need to teach that athlete through maybe breathing strategies to relax and let go of the tone in the back that's making them feel locked down all the time in the back. So what you see is there's a lot of reasons you may feel stiff as a fitness athlete, and the fix is different depending on what the true cause is. But the fix is almost never anything to do with stretching your low back, and that's the main moral of this story. So hope you guys enjoyed. If you have a question or comment, feel free to leave it below, and we'll be happy to answer. Thanks for watching.